Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the University of Dundee Master of Education webinar. My name is Helen Spiropoulos. I'm the Admissions Manager at Stafford Global, and joining me this evening all the way from the university is Dr. Marie. Good evening to you, Dr. Marie.
Good evening. I hope you're all well.
Thank you very much. Yes, we are, and we've got some nice weather coming along our way, so I'm hoping the same will actually come through for you in the UK.
Yes, it is getting a little bit milder out there, not to the same extent as it is for you probably, but we are noticing a difference. We're not in the minus figures anymore.
Good, fantastic. And thank you everyone for joining us this evening. I can see there are some applicants that have joined us all the way from Africa, as well as parts of the Middle East. So it's great to have you with us this evening. How are we going to conduct the webinar this evening? So I'm just briefly going to introduce you to Stafford Global and what our function is. And I'm then going to hand you over to Dr. Marie, who's going to take you through the program. And towards the end of the presentation, you will have the opportunity to type out any questions that you will have for me or for Dr. Marie. I will be looking at these questions quite carefully because a lot of them are very similar or identical, so I will be grouping these questions together. Okay, so let's get started. Now, who is Stafford Global? Stafford was established in 1993, and we are a resource centre for distance learning education in the Middle East, as well as in Africa and in Canada. Now, we are currently the resource centre for 5 UK universities, one of which is University of Dundee. Now, the mere fact that you are here this evening means that you have been in touch with our experienced academic consultants, and our function is to assist you throughout the application process, get that very, very important unconditional offer, and we also do offer some academic as well as administrative support. Now, if there is a program in our portfolio that would best suit you, you can contact our academic consultants, and we may be able to offer you programs ranging from certificates to diplomas, bachelors, MBAs, right through until doctorates. Okay, so I'm now going to hand you over to Dr. Marie, who's going to take you through the program, and I'll join you towards the end of the presentation. Over to you, Marie.
Thank you, Helen, and we look forward to seeing you again soon. Okay, so welcome to the University of Dundee and the Master of Education Programme. My name is Dr. Marie Beresford-Dey, and I'm a lecturer in education on the programme, and primarily that's in terms of leadership. I'm also the academic lead and advisor of studies for any students who undertake the MEd or one of the MEd awards via Stafford Associates. Okay, so what I'm going to do first of all is just go through who we are at Dundee, so briefly give you an overview of who we are and the work that we do before focusing in on the programme. So who are we at the University of Dundee? Well, we make a difference here in the real world through encouraging that cross-disciplinary exchange of thoughts and ideas and innovation through a variety of teaching methods and perspectives. We work to foster a partnership approach between students and staff, and we're actively seeking ways of working together across different boundaries. We encourage and support you to be transformative. We make time to listen to help and to support you throughout your studies. We recognise and respect differences, actively promoting inclusion, nurturing creativity and innovation. And as a modern university, we focus our efforts on 3 key themes: improving social, cultural and physical well-being to develop innovative solutions to 21st century problems. So all in all, we like to say that we helped transform lives. So Why Dundee? And as you can see from the listings there, we're frequently placed highly in the university rankings, and that's something that we're very proud of here in Dundee. We have a substantial global reputation with students from over 150 countries around the world. In addition, no matter where you are in the world, where you're studying from, we promote that real sense of community, and we believe it's this that sets us apart. So at Dundee, we can offer you a learning experience with one of the world's top universities, and during the course of your studies, we'll offer you excellent teaching, learning, support and resources. Okay, so let's just take a little look now at the MEd programme. So the MEd is a professional development programme undertaken at level 11 on the Scottish qualifications framework. So that's master's level learning. One thing to point out that although the MEd is recognised by the General Teaching Council in Scotland, it's not a teaching qualification. As different national governments have different prerequisites for teaching, you are advised to check with the relevant government or registering body. Okay, so although we're a professional development programme, we don't award those teaching licenses. It is a programme based on reflective practice, so looking at what you do. It's a work-based inquiry practice, so although you may not be currently in an educational establishment or employed by an educational establishment, you need to have enough experience for you to be able to reflect upon. Okay, and as I say, do check with your international guidance on the requirements for teaching. Okay, so the programme itself, to give you a brief overview, we treat all students equally. So even though you'll be studying at a distance, you still have access to all the student support. It is an internationally recognised postgraduate qualification, and we have education, of course, is at its focus, but that's from early years through to higher education. We offer part-time and fast-track study, and this offers you some flexibility and autonomy. It's a blended learning approach, so whilst much of that is taking place at a distance and virtually through similar means as this presentation tonight, there are the written materials, and of course you're encouraged to search them, use the library for relevant publications. Okay, we're practice-based professional development, and it offers that learning qualification at either postgraduate, postgraduate diploma or the MEd. We're recognised by the International Baccalaureate, and I'll talk about that a little bit more soon. And we have students from all sectors of education around the world, and all students are on different routes, so that because we offer a variety of different routes, and alongside those different foci throughout the MEd. So you may not be studying, if you do join us, the same pathway as others on the programme. Okay, so why study at master's level? There are several benefits of undertaking a master's degree. First of all, it deepens and broadens your knowledge through asking questions, seeking answers and exploring the landscapes from different perspectives, which then changes the way in which you perceive the world. And through this, you'll develop a more inquiring, reflective, critical and innovative approach to your practice. Second, through undertaking the MEd, you'll demonstrate your mastery of education, which of course can then be honed further to specialise in an educational area. Thirdly, it enables you to develop transferable skills such as criticality, communication, use of technology, and of course those all-important organisational skills. It also enables you to study at master's level, enables you to improve your career prospects, which often leads to higher incomes, as this also includes professional progression into leadership and management roles. Also, you might wish to progress to doctoral study if you obtain the full MEd, and we've certainly had several students who have. And then also some countries do consider teaching at master's level or teaching as a master's level profession. So therefore, obtaining an MEd enables you to meet the professional requirements for these countries. Okay, so at the University of Dundee, our MEd is a programme of study that brings together theory with your practice. It encourages you to draw on your experiences and align them with literature, and vice versa. It enables you to question why we do certain things and whether there are alternative ways where practice can be enhanced. It encourages you to strengthen your knowledge about global education developments through offering an opportunity to critically explore different perspectives of education, all of which help to develop or extend your confidence and, as we say, enhance your professional career. And as tutors, we can continuously seeing our students' practice being influenced by their learning at master's level, and this inevitably benefits the students and staff who you are working with. Okay, to obtain a Master's of Education, you'll need to complete 180 credits of study in any of the named awards that you see there on the screen. The award of Leading Learning and Teaching, highlighted in bold, is our generic award, which provides flexibility, subject flexibility. However, if you require a subject specialism, you can see that we have a number of options, from educational leadership to the TESOL award. We have, and that TESOL award is a new named up pathway in the MEd, and one that we're very excited to introduce. So what sort of students might undertake this route? The programme is primarily suitable for new graduates and teachers, so this is in terms of that TESOL award for new graduates and teachers of English with little to a few years of teaching experience. It could also be suitable for those who would like to become TESOL leaders in their institutions and maybe pursue consultancy in charities or educational organisations, state or private schools or universities. The main benefit for employability in the MEd TESOL programmes gives graduates a competitive advantage of teaching English in state or private schools and university. Also, you can obtain employment in translation and editing for public sector. So within that new pathway that we have, there's lots of opportunity. But of course, there's opportunity in the other pathways too. So we have a range of optional modules to choose from, and some of these are directly linked to the named awards on the previous screen. So each of the optional modules enable you to carry out the study and assignment without being in a workplace environment, as long as you have that relevant teaching experience to draw from. Each optional module is considered a single credit module, so that's worth 30 credits at master's level. In addition, we also have 3 core modules reflecting upon practice, research methods and the dissertation. So The reflection modules plus the research methods, they're 30 credits each, but the dissertation module is a double credit module, which is worth 60 credits at master's level. Okay. To demonstrate how the named awards and modules link, you can see that the generic Leading, Learning and Teaching Award enables you to undertake any 2 optional modules along with having flexibility at the dissertation stage, so it can be any relevant educational topic. Whereas the named awards that are not highlighted in bold do require you to undertake specific modules, and the dissertation must focus on an area that's relevant to the named award. So, for example, if you wish to undertake educational leadership, then one of your modules, your optional modules, must be leadership and organisational development, with a free choice of a second optional, but then your dissertation must also focus on educational leadership. Okay, the International Baccalaureate, something that I mentioned earlier, or the IB, as it's fondly known as. For these awards, we offer the 3 awards there: Certificates in Leadership Practice, the Advanced Certificate in Leadership Research, and Advanced Certificate in Learning and Teaching Research. And for these awards, once you commence your studies at Dundee, you'll need to register directly with the IB, and we'll provide you with guidelines to support you with this process. We also have dedicated team members who will provide you with IB support. There's no additional requirements for each of the IB awards in terms of assessment. It's not like you have to carry out an additional assessment for these awards, but you will be expected to underpin your writing with IB publications. And again, we'll provide you support for this throughout your studies. So first of all, the Certificate in Leadership Practice, that doesn't require any IB experience to undertake that. From there, you can move on to the Advanced Certificate in Leadership Practice. For the first pathway of that advanced leadership route and the certificates, however, there are specific modules that you need to undertake, and the team at Stafford Global will support you in that and preparing your application if IB is something that you're wishing to obtain. There's also a second pathway where it's not necessary for you to undertake those 2 modules, but you must have 3 years teaching experience in an IB school. And then finally, in the advanced certificates, for that you must undertake the full MEd, as with the Advanced Certificate in Leadership Research. But again, for that route, you must have 3 years teaching experience in an IB school, and that's specified by the IB themselves. So just to talk you through a typical route, and this includes IB Advanced Teaching and Learning Research. So in year 1, assuming that you're coming in without any credit exemption and you're studying part-time, then year 1 you would undertake reflection upon practice in your first semester, with the optional module as your second semester studies. Year 2, your second optional module plus the core research methods, and then year 3, the dissertation, and after that dissertation, then you can exit with an MEd and have the IB eligibility for that Advanced Teaching and Learning Research Award. Of course, we've got exit stages before then, as you can see at year 1 with postgraduate certificate, year 2 postgraduate diploma. However, they won't provide you with eligibility for that Advanced Teaching and Learning Research Award. Just another example here, and this is for the IB leadership, and again it's a typical route through. So in year 1, the 2 modules that you are seeing there, leadership and organisational development and reflecting upon leadership in the IB, are the 2 modules specified by the IB that you must undertake, particularly if you've not got that IB teaching experience. Once you've completed that year 1, yes, you are eligible to exit with postgraduate certificate, and you are also eligible for the IB Leadership Practice Award. However, we hope that you continue on and undertake your postgraduate diploma level. So that's year 2, where you have your optional module plus the research methods core module. And then finally in year 3, a successful completion of the dissertation with leadership and IB as a focus. That will allow you to exit with an MEd in educational leadership and have that eligibility for advanced IB leadership. So you can see there's lots of routes through the MEd programme depending on your needs to support your career advancement. The programme has options for fast track or part-time study. The key difference here is that you double up the amount of work carried out in a semester for the fast track route. So you undertake a total of 60 credits in one semester, as opposed to the 30 credits for the part-time route. And the fast track option is, I have to say, it's a significant undertaking, and I really do strongly advise you to consider whether you have the space to complete approximately 30 hours of study per week. And I have to say, most students do take that 30 hours or more, so do bear that in mind. However, if you do decide upon this option but then feel it's too overwhelming, we can transfer you onto the part-time route at the start of a semester. Equally, if you commence the part-time route but perhaps your circumstances change so that you feel that you're able to double up your study, then again we can transfer you at certain points of your studies. Okay, optional workshops. These are not mandatory, as it says, suggests in the title there, but they are highly recommended. They're a fantastic opportunity to meet with other students as well as some of the tutors, and it's a space for us to start building that sense of community that I've mentioned earlier. So the optional workshops for the next cohort are on Friday the 15th and Saturday the 16th of October. And these really do help to give you a good understanding of some of the mechanisms that we use here within the university's online learning platform. So, for example, how to access the online learning library and how to access various opportunities for support in addition to the materials and the discussion boards and so on. These are held virtually or when travel permits locally in the UAE. So in addition to the benefits of understanding the university's mechanisms, it will also enable you to develop an understanding of critical reading, thinking and writing, all of which are required for master's level studies. So it really does give you an all-round greater sense of confidence about undertaking study at this level. Feedback is always excellent. Students find them very worthwhile and beneficial to moving forward with their studies. Okay, entry requirements for any of the routes I've mentioned tonight. You must have an undergraduate degree, and that can be in any discipline. And if your degree was not taught in English, the English language requirement is an academic IELTS of 6.5 or equivalent. Now, we do have what we call the work-based and the non-workplace-based route. The difference is here that some of you will be in relevant or working currently in a relevant setting. Others may not be, but you must have had previous experience, enough experience for you to be able to reflect on it at a deep level within education and teaching. Okay, one thing that we all look forward to, and that's graduation, is that end point, that celebration. Whoops, not quite sure what happened there, but let's just go back again. And there is a time scale surrounding you've completed your studies and that all-important graduation. Your studies will be presented to the Board of Examiners meeting, and it's them who will confer appropriate awards to be made for each student on the MEd programme who are eligible to graduate during that graduation. The MEd Board of Examiners meeting is held in September, and a chair's action is held in May each year, so that's September and May. And these coincide with the graduation ceremonies, which take place in June, so that's the summer graduation, and November, the winter graduation. So do bear in mind that there are 2 opportunities for our students to graduate each year, but that it does take time from you completing your studies to that moment of graduation. As part of this process, registry contacts students to inform you that you may be eligible to graduate, as they have the predicted end date of your final assessments and studies. So please don't complete any registration for graduation or make any arrangements to travel to Dundee when we can until you've checked whether you've passed your final module, whether it's been ratified by the Board of Examiners, and whether you've had that notification from registry. As I say, we do need time to complete the examination process before graduation. So no certificates can be provided until you have graduated in either the June or November, but what we can do for you, because we realise there's some, either you may be going on for further studies and the institutions will want some evidence of your completion, or your employers may need some evidence of completion of studies. We can provide you with letters of attainment, and they can be requested from the graduation office before you receive your certificate, so we can provide you with that confirmation. Okay, what do our students say? We love working with students, and it's fantastic when we see them coming to the end point and being successful in their awards, whether that's postgraduate certificate, diploma, or the full MEd. It's something really special for us as tutors, and I know it is for our students as well. But yes, professionally, they see the improvement in their practice and in those around them. They enjoy the support, they enjoy the challenge, and all in all, our students do have a really successful and good experience. Tuition fees, please seek personalised cost and payment advice from your academic consultant at Stafford Associates. Now I'm going to give you the final application deadline, and that's 10th of October, and that seems like a long way ahead. We've got the summer to get through, but believe you and me, it will be here before we know it. So we know just how quickly time passes. So do get those applications in as soon as possible. And I believe Helen will be coming to join me here so we can answer some of your questions.
Okay, excellent. Thank you so much, Dr. Marie. That was very thorough and very, very informative. And we do have a few questions that have come through. And our first question is from Fatima. I'm interested in the TESOL specialization. However, do I need to be currently teaching English to foreign students for this particular specialization?
No, doesn't matter which module, which pathway you undertake on the MEd. We don't expect you to be currently teaching in that area. If you are going into TESOL, it may be that you're teaching elsewhere in another subject matter, that's fine. Or it may be that you've got past experience, a substantial amount of past experience to be able to draw from as you're reflecting on the programme. But it's not necessary for you to be currently teaching English at the moment.
Okay, and I have been looking at this program quite extensively. In your opinion, is it okay if I can actually start off with a postgraduate certificate and then progress to the final master's program? I am afraid that I may not have the time to dedicate to the full program.
Yeah, you know, and I think that's a good idea. If you're not sure, yes, start with that postgraduate certificate, and we hope that you will continue and progress. Maybe not straight away. It may be that you'll have some gap between your study, but we do see quite regular students who either may be uncertain about the time commitments, and also some students who just think master's degree is such a big undertaking. They may not feel quite certain, maybe confident in their own ability to reach that. So that postgraduate certificate is a real good starting point, and often we'll see students, once they get to that point and they've settled into the study, that they're hooked. They enjoy the learning, they enjoy everything, being with their peers and that sense of community, and wish to continue. So but yes, certainly, you know, if you're unsure, postgraduate certificate is a good starting place.
Okay, and a follow-up question to that is, if I do complete the postgraduate certificate and exit, what job opportunities do I have with this particular qualification?
Well, for postgraduate certificates, now again, it may open doors for you in teaching, and as I said earlier in the presentation, that you do need to check with relevant governing bodies, ministries of education and so on, to check what their requirements are. But any postgraduate certificate or award, so whether that's certificate level, diploma or master's level, is going to give you a competitive advantage. But it's also going to give you greater knowledge. It's going to give you, encourage that inquiring mind. In terms of jobs, yes, that could be teaching within schools, depending on the rules and regulations for that country, but also it could open things for further education, to private consultancy, higher education. It could enable you to go on to further study. The list is endless. So, but generally the postgraduate certificate, whatever level, is going to open more doors for you in lots of different ways.
Good. And Sarah's question is, I would like to eventually move into more of a managerial role at my school, perhaps even a school principal. What specialisation would be the best for me to undertake for this?
Well, off the top of my head, I would start off with the MEd in educational leadership. You know, it does what it says on the tin. It's going to give you that master's level at within that area of specialism. So you've not just studied one module at 30 credit in terms of leadership, but you'll have carried out a dissertation as well, and that's really going to give you the depth of knowledge and understanding the two of those things. That's half of your dissertation focusing, half of your study, sorry, focusing on educational leadership. And that's a wide range of topics within that. So team building, importance of collaboration, all the many different theoretical frameworks involved in that. However, there's other opportunities as well. So it may be the leading learning teaching that gives you a broader understanding of education, but still at that high level. Or it may be that you want to specialise in something like inclusion or international education. Each of these will give you that opportunity to move into those leadership managerial roles. And that perhaps adds a little bit more to the previous question about what job roles will be available. But the educational leadership is probably one that just stands out there. It says educational leadership, and that's what it does. And we certainly had aspiring school principals plus current school principals undertaking that named pathway.
Good, excellent. And that's a further question from Farah. I have worked as a school secretary for many years, and this was quite a few years ago. She mentions here about 7 years ago. I have subsequently left, and I'm not working in the education industry at the moment. Will I still be able to do this program? In other words, do I still have it? Very good question there, Farah.
Perhaps having a better understanding of what that role is, as well as secretary, school secretary, because what you need to have done, and I would suggest that 7 years is quite a long time to be out of a school environment, but on top of that, you need to make sure that any job role that you've been carried out includes teaching. And that's what we're looking for. We're looking for those educators on this programme. If you haven't got that, please speak to the team at Stafford Global, because they may be able to offer other options to you. Alternatively, you might want to carry out volunteering work, but that would need to be a substantial amount for you to be able to draw from. But again, speak with your consultant at Stafford.
Absolutely. I was just about to suggest that, Farah, if you can get in touch with us and do send us a copy of your CV as well as your academic qualifications that you have, your personal academic consultant will be able to give you some guidance on that. Okay, and I'm planning to actually work in Vietnam. Will this program be recognized in that country?
I would hope so. It's an MEd programme, a master's programme that's recognised globally, and we've certainly had students undertaking this and successfully completed from all over the world. So I would imagine, yes, it's going to be recognised.
Okay, and why does this program not have any face-to-face assessing in the classroom? Do I require a mentor?
A mentor is always a good idea, no matter what type of study you're undertaking. It's somebody to be able to discuss ideas with, discuss your thinking with, and so on. But you don't actually need a mentor for this. It's not part of the programme. We're not assessing your classroom teaching practice because it's not a teaching licence award. It's a professional development award. So what we're looking for is how you relate, how you reflect on your practice, and how you align that with the theoretical approaches that you'll draw from.
Okay, and I have noticed that there are mandatory modules that I do have to take for specific specializations. My question is, can I pick up any other additional modules that I like that may not be part of that specialization, just so that I can get the knowledge?
It's a tricky one. You would have to pay extra for them, but what I would say first of all is obtain the award that you're aiming for. That needs to be the priority. If then you wish to return to us, then we can certainly have a look at what you've undertaken, what you're wishing to undertake, and try and work out how we can help you and support you with that. But my suggestion is that you focus on the award that you're undertaking first and foremost.
Okay, and a question from Camise. I have been informed that there is orientation. What is the purpose of the orientation and what is covered during the orientation time frame?
So the orientation, it builds up around the workshop. So we first of all give you, it's an introduction, and then towards the workshops we are looking at use of some of the university platforms. We'll ask you to go and visit various parts of the electronic or the virtual university, so you can get an understanding of those. We'll start to introduce you to us and to each other, your peers, working, building up that sense of community. And then we talk in the induction sessions, we visit a whole range of subject matters, as I say in the presentation, the criticality, so whether that's in thinking, reading, writing. We provide writing tips, we provide suggestions of searching in the university's library and how to do that. There's a lot of input in those early weeks, but the information for the majority of it is recorded, so you can revisit, because we know that, you know, giving a lot of information in those early days can be quite overwhelming. But what we're aiming for is for you to have a sense of confidence in those early 2 weeks. So once the modules open, you're focusing on the learning of the content of that module rather than wondering where everything else is placed. We want you to have that understanding, so you open up that module and you can get to work on the content straight away.
Okay, and Sarah's question is, you mentioned about the workshops not being mandatory. However, if I don't want to attend or I cannot attend, whatever is covered, is this uploaded for me so that I can revisit?
Yes, they are recorded, particularly at the moment, because we're not travelling anywhere. So we're here, it's done virtually. It's quite easy for us to record those. So yes, we're making the most of that opportunity to record all of the sessions, apart from the drop-in sessions where there's just a lot of just general discussion. But there's more structured presentations and teaching and induction sessions are all recorded. Of course, if you don't go, you're not part of that conversation, but equally you have the materials there. It doesn't stop you from carrying out the activities. It doesn't stop you from perhaps connecting with some of your peers and maybe having that conversation.
Good, and Mohammed's question is, if I do not enjoy the specialization that I choose, can I change this halfway through my studies?
It depends, and often that's a response that I'll give to various questions, because it does depend where you're going, which sort of award you're aiming for, and what you've undertaken, which modules you've undertaken already. So we'd like to think, yes, there's opportunities for you to change, but it really does depend what you're changing from and what you wish to change to. And sometimes it's not just a case of perhaps not enjoying that subject area. It may be that perhaps your career aspirations have changed, or something, you change direction in your careers. That means you need to change direction in your studies. Now, if you started off on a specialism, but wish then to change to another specialism, we need to make sure you've still got space to undertake that required module. If you started off on a specialism, but then wish to perhaps transfer to the more generic leading, learning and teaching, which has lots of flexibility, then yes, there's absolutely no problem. We can do that. So like I say, it depends.
Okay, and Beth's question is quite an interesting one. I have 27 years working experience in an education environment. Will I be granted exemptions from any on the modules that you offer based on my work experience?
We don't offer experiential exemptions. We offer credit exemptions on the academic work that you undertake that must be equivalent to level 11. So that's level 11 on the Scottish qualifications framework. If it's not equivalent to that, then we can't offer credit exemption. One other thing to note on that as well, any academic qualification that may be relevant for credit exemption must have been completed within 5 years.
Good. Please do get in touch with us, and we'll be able to guide you through your application process and give you some guidance on that as well. Okay, and we have a question from April Lynn, and her question is, can I actually continue further into a PhD once I complete this program?
Yes, that's, I suppose, the natural flow of study, and we hope that students do wish to continue on to PhDs. Again, that's something that you'll need to speak to the team at Stafford to see if they can support you once you've completed your MEd to take that the next step further, and what opportunities there are for you there. But certainly we do hope that from an MEd that you will then move on to PhD studies. I know it's something that I've done and thoroughly enjoyed. It's very challenging, but the MEd really does set you up, gives you a strong foundation to move forward in terms of doctoral studies.
Okay, and Mohammed's question is, do you foresee in the future that these workshops will be done in the Middle East? I am in KSA, and I would love to travel to Dubai or any other city to do this. So will this be available for us in the future?
Well, I have to say to you, we're hoping and would love to travel as well to see you all, because it's something that we enjoy. We enjoy, meeting the team again face to face at Stafford, but of course we also thoroughly enjoy meeting the students as well. So yes, let's just hope that it won't be too long before we can travel more freely and we can get over to UAE and say hello in person and take you through those induction workshops face to face.
Okay, and I see a final question from Fatima, which a lot of students do ask. How about my English requirement? Do I need to do an IELTS of 6.5 for this program, or is there any other way that I can meet this English requirement?
Well, first of all, I would suggest let's have a little look at your undergraduate degree or any postgraduate studies that you've had since then, and whether that's been undertaken as English medium. So if that's the case, then we can use that. Again, speak to your personal consultant at Stafford Global, because they'll be able to talk you through that. They'll be able to see what you have and be able to advise you on that.
Absolutely, and there are a lot of other, tests or systems that can be used in order to actually meet that English requirement. So please do get in touch with us. Do send us your academic qualifications so that we can pre-evaluate that for you. Okay, so I have managed to actually squeeze all the questions together. Very, very good questions, everyone. Thank you so much. And as Dr. Marie has said, we are currently accepting applications for the October intake. The application, the final application deadline is the 10th of October. Please do send in your application documents as soon as possible. The cohort does fill up quite quickly and there are limited places available. So I do encourage you to get in touch with your academic consultant and send those documents in. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much again, Marie. Lovely to have you with us, and good night to everyone.
Thank you very much. Good evening.